Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for another Ready to Ride Pilates horse rider session. I'm taking a bit of a gamble with the sun position today, so hopefully you can see everything clearly. We are going to be doing some hardcore upper body exercises though, so I hope you are ready and prepared. Make sure that you are really well and truly warmed up before you start the session. If not, pause, go and do one of the warm-ups and then come back and get started. Okay, so we are going to start just in a cross-leg position, or if you're not comfortable with that, you can kneel for this part, absolutely fine. Make sure you've got equal weight through both of your seat bones before you start. Then arms across your chest and you're turning your shoulders from side to side. We just want to make sure that you're loosened up through your upper body, no tension around your shoulders before we start. Keep that equal weight through your seat bones, and then we're going to swap your legs over, swap your arms over, and off you go again. Equal weight through your seat bones, level shoulders all the way through. Okie doke, then arms down by your side. Keep that equal weight through your seat bones. I'd like you to bring your arms up above your head. Hopefully my hands don't disappear too much. And then reach up one side for a good big breath in. And out, and then reach up the other side, another good big breath in. And back out. So try to be really elastic down your side, stretch down your side as you do that breath in and that reach up. And we're going to do one more this way. And then I'd like you to take yourselves down onto your mat, onto your side. And we're going to start off doing the side bend, for which you need to be in your capital L position. So that's a straight line from shoulders, hips to knees, knees bent to 90 degrees. So then you're going to take your pelvic floor onto floor 3, and we are synchronizing, lifting your top arm and your pelvis. So both body parts on the move at the same time. Keep your pelvic floor onto floor 3, keep your breathing nice and steady and regular. If you're finding this is quite easy, lift the top leg, and we're going to increase the load through the shoulder that you are weight bearing on. Keep the breathing regular. Don't be tempted to take a breath in as you go up into the lift. Try to just keep the breathing steady. If anything, breathe out as you go into the lift. If you're still finding this a little bit easy, straighten your top leg as you go into that lift. So now you've got 3 body parts on the move, and that one arm just holding you up, obviously on the lower leg, but most of that work is through your arm and shoulder. Keep the breathing regular, keep the pelvic floor onto floor 3. And then we're going to go onto your front, and we're going to start off with an exercise called the Swan Dive, for which you need to have your arms out to the side, elbows bent to 90 degrees. I would like you to look at your mat. I'm looking at you so you can hear me a little bit better. Shoulder blades back and down so the front of your shoulders are away from the floor. Tummy away from the puddle of water underneath you, pelvic floor onto floor 3. And to start off with, you're just lifting your head and neck. I will now demonstrate facing the floor. So head and neck just moving together. Stay looking down. And if you find this easy, you can add in your arms as well, but just watch that your arms don't start to cheat with the elbows leading the way. And watch as well that if you add in the arms, that you can genuinely keep your tummy away from the puddle of water all the way through. You don't start to sink down. We want your low back to stay neutral. This is all about your upper body. Watch that you're not holding your breath. And your pelvic floor is onto floor 3. Okay, we're going to change this now to your breaststroke exercise. If you're new to this, have your arms onto the mat beside you. Again, shoulder blades back and down. Tummy away from the puddle of water, pelvic floor onto floor 3, and all you're going to do is just reach for your toes and rest back down. If you find that's a little bit easy, you can progress to, like with the Swan Dive, lifting your arms, head and neck as you go into that reach position. If you're quite advanced and you want to make it a bit harder, then we're going to do this with your hands under your head and into that lift, keeping the tummy away from the puddle of water and the pelvic floor onto floor 3. If you can do that successfully, you want to make it harder still, add in the breaststroke arm motion as you're in the lift position. But as always with these, only do your progression if you can keep those key core elements in control. So watch as you make it hard that you don't then find that you are sinking down through your tummy. Only do the progression if you can keep the tummy away from the puddle of water and keep breathing. Okay, last one. We're going to move on to an exercise called the hundreds. And we're going to make this a little bit harder than sometimes. Same starting position, shoulder blades back and down, tummy away from the puddle, pelvic floor onto floor 3. As you do your patting, you're going to move your arms out to the side and then bring them back down by your side. Keep checking that your shoulder blades stay back and down, tummy stays away from the puddle of water, and your pelvic floor is onto floor 3. Keep that breathing steady and regular. Make sure this movement is from your shoulders, not from your wrists or your fingers. Keep that breathing regular. You're going to finish on your next, get back down to your side, and then we're going to go onto the side that you haven't already been on. I'm going to swap hands because it means I can still see you. Okay, so you can see me, probably better. Once again into your capital L position, so straight line from shoulders, hips to knees, top arm onto your top side, pelvic floor onto floor 3, and then we're synchronising, lifting the top arm and your pelvis. Just like we did on the other side, keep the breathing steady and regular. Keep the pelvic floor onto floor 3, and look for that nice synchronisation. If you want to go harder, lift that top leg so all the workload is really going through that one shoulder and your lower leg. Keep the breathing regular. Pelvic floor still on floor 3. And then if you want to make it harder still, we're going to straighten your top leg. So now you're adding in that complexity of the synchronization element as well. If you find that you start to lose the quality of the movement or you're getting uncomfortable through your shoulder, go back so you're just doing the arm on its own, not with the top leg elevated. 2 more of this one. Okie doke. Then you're going to go onto your hands and knees, and I would like you to start with your hands underneath your, or just in front of your shoulders, sorry. Knees underneath your hips and your toes tucked under your feet. Pelvic floor onto floor 3. Then lift your knees and slowly back down. And you will see that my knees are coming just maybe an inch, inch and a half off the mat, keeping it small. Keep the breathing regular. And as always, pelvic floor onto floor 3. Okay, if you're happy with that, stay doing that. Otherwise, hands a little bit further in front, and we're going to go for the full leg pull. So pelvic floor, lift and forwards. Now when you get to that forwards point, watch you don't turn it into a cobra or stick your bottom in the air. You want to be heading for a straight line, shoulders, hips to knees, back and down. So lift, over, back and down. You have to ignore if my shoulder blades are doing something weird. They like to wing in this position. Okay, if you're finding this easy, then see if you can stay in this position, holding your back as straight as you can and doing knees to chest. As always, if you attempt this and you find that you start to feel uncomfortable or find it hard to keep breathing, then go back to just staying on the move. Okay, another variation if you can, staying in position and patting your opposite shoulder, trying to keep your body as still as you can. There'll be a little bit of movement. Keep the pelvic floor going, keep your breathing regular. Last one. Okay, back over your knees and down, and now we're going to go into sitting. So legs out in front of you, and you're going to have your hands behind you. And for this first exercise, you want your fingers pointing in towards your bottom. We're going to do a tricep dip. So the slightly easier version is like so. Just allowing your elbows to bend out behind as you take your body weight onto your arms. If you want to make it a bit harder, lift your pelvis and then do the same thing, keeping your pelvis off the floor, but making sure again, pelvic floor onto floor 3, regular breathing. Good job, do 2 more of this. Okay, then I'd like you to turn your hands around so your fingers are pointing away from you. This time your elbows are going to stay straight pelvic floor is onto floor 3. Lift your hips like a hinge and slowly back down. So it's pelvic floor, lift, slowly back down. Watch with this one that you don't overdo it and lose that nice ribs to pelvis positioning. And if you find this a little bit easy, next time you get to the top, stay there and see if you can do some kind of modified hip twists really. Or maybe it's modified scissors, hasn't got a name. Trying to keep your headlights as level as you can. Think about, yes, we're doing upper body workout, but think about when you're riding, when you move a leg, you want to make sure that your pelvis will stay central and balanced throughout. One more with each leg, and then bring yourselves back and down. Okay, I'm going to face you again now. So let's just loosen off around your shoulders. They've worked really hard. So do some nice big rolls up, back and down. This is a really good little exercise to do. So simple, but if you feel stiff around your neck and shoulders, if you get tense, if you get trigger points, headaches, sometimes this little exercise, so simple, can just be enough to loosen you off. Okay, then one arm up, put your hand, opposite hand above the elbow, and give it a bit of a stretch. Where you feel it will vary totally, depending on where you are focused. We'll stop and do the same thing the other way. And for me, my shoulders feel completely different on each side when I do this, so don't worry, it's completely normal. Okay, then bring your arms back down and relax. So just before you finish, check you've got equal weight in your seat. Your spine is taking you up tall and elastic. Shoulders are relaxed, back and down. And you have that feeling of your piece of string pulling up as tall as you can go. And just make sure your breathing is relaxed. So well done. If you survived to the end of that one, you've done really well. Just remember, if you found any of those a little bit too hard, take them down to the level below. There's never any need to push yourself so that you feel uncomfortable. Just do what you can do safely and comfortably. If you found some of those a little bit too hard, keep working away and revisit this session maybe in a month, 6 weeks time, and see if you can find some that are a wee bit easier, or move on to the slightly harder versions. Hope you found it enjoyable though. Take care and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.